in the future. So I would also like to congratulate our esteemed debaters, because it has been really a very, very tight and competitive race. My role here is to simply do one thing. I'm just going to introduce the judges that are going to be taking the task of evaluating the grand finals for the junior track. The first judge on the panel is Ambada, the best speaker of NDC regionals of his time and a very fast progressing university speaker in the British parliamentary debate style. That judge is Mwebaze Arnold. Okay. So I'm just going to introduce these two together because they are one of the strongest female partnerships in Uganda currently, with their most recent title being the first runners-up, the youngest and first runners-up novice category. I don't mean novice that they were in the novice category. I mean novices were runners-up for the LPAL, All-Female Prestigious 2024 Championship, with one of them being as well the best speaker for the Uganda Dialogue Arena 2024, and there were still runners-up there. This duo is known for running up. When it wants, it switches up. So I would like to invite Karunji Mary Sharon and Kahiju Deborah Yusuf. Okay. The next duo as well. So I think for this duo, I need to do a brief of introduction. So there is something in the East African community known as the Orientation Hub, which has been largely supporting our debates circuits in the East African community, especially at the junior level and the secondary level, empowering things like adjudicators, providing manuals, and providing every little bit of incentive to make sure that each country within the East African community still has a circuit of juniors and secondary students that grow. So they represent and they are delegates from the Orientation Hub of Kenya. So the first judge is a judge that many of the juniors love because of his eloquence and jokes. Mr. Kanda Brian, you're welcome. Okay. The finals chair. The finals chair for this debate is also from the Orientation Hub, a very eloquent Swahili speaker, very intrigued by the motion about the Swahili language. And he'll be joining us in a few though. He had to step out for a medical emergency, but we still need to announce him. So the finals chair is Mr. Mwindi Brian from Kenya. Congratulations. Okay, so we'll wait for our finals chair. And in the meantime, we can still let the DJ play us some sweet music while the juniors finish their prep. Thank you very much. In the meantime, we are going to have a presentation from the UAP about we are going to have a presentation from the UAP, and it's going to be very, very brief. Okay, so since we need to run the schedule as well very, very fast, we are just going to start the debate in the next 5 minutes. And yeah, that's it. We'll have the presentation later.
place settled down. The NJSEC finals is right about to happen, and before we begin, I want all of us to clap for the speakers on the floor for reaching this fine performance. Congratulations, Steve, and without wasting any more time, we would like to begin this debate. The motions for these finals reads that schools in developing countries should prioritize STEM education over the arts education. With that said and done, we'd like to welcome the first speaker on the floor to start for us the debate. The timing of the debate is still normal, nothing has changed. All speakers have 5 minutes of speech. You're going to hear the bell once your first minute is over, and another bell when you have 1 minute left. Then you cannot take POIs. Reply speeches are strictly 2 minutes. Please ensure you don't speak for too much in the first 5 minutes time frame. With that said and done, first speaker, the floor is yours.
Panel, we the affirmatives of today agree with the resolution of today that says that schools in developing countries should prioritize STEM education over arts education. And we do see that in the keywords in the resolution of today. One, we have developing countries. Developing countries, these are countries that are in the transition of low economic status or high economic status. We still see that prioritize is to favor something over the other, not neglecting the other, but giving what you like most and favoring it, giving it the upper hand. But no, we still see that this STEM education, this is the education that consists of the subjects like science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Arts education, this is the education that does not consist of the science subjects, whereby examples of this arts education, we have the history, we have the geography, and many other subjects. But we do see that in our world, we are basing on many various contexts, whereby we see that when we prioritize this STEM education in these schools, we are seeing that there is the innovation, whereby this filling gaps of the innovation. When we come to the world of arts education, there is no innovation. Take an example like solving the different problems whereby those problems need critical thinking. Take an example like the subjects or like mathematics. Try to compare it with history. When you try to see, as you're solving a particular equation, we see that this mathematics needs critical thinking, and we are not seeing how this arts education is promoting innovation among these schools, whereby we also see that when we prioritize this arts education, not necessarily saying that we are leaving out the arts education, we are simply saying that we are giving STEM education the upper hand, whereby this STEM education is improving the security system, whereby we have the technology, whereby in this technology we have the cyber security, we also have the nanotechnology. Firstly, this cyber security that consists of the CCTV cameras, the eagle's eye, this is improving the security systems of areas whereby you can easily identify. Though you are not seeing the person maybe who did a particular crime physically, but you are using that technology that is helping us solve the different problems that the society is facing. We are also seeing that that this STEM education is filling the innovation gaps in these schools, whereby we are not seeing how the arts education solves those problems. We still see that in their work, they just base on the history, maybe like they base on the art subjects. Those art subjects are not promoting the different key issues that the communities need, and that's why we stand based on these 4 cardinal points. When we see that STEM education promotes economic development and job creation, we still see that this STEM education is promoting critical thinking and problem solving, more so enhancing global competitiveness, and lastly, long-term societal benefits. As the first speaker, I'm going to talk about economic development and enhancing global competitiveness, whereby as developing countries, these developing developing countries, we are still informing you that they are not yet developed, but as they are in their transitional stage of developing, this is where you find they are prioritizing this STEM education, not necessarily leaving the arts education, but prioritizing this STEM education, where we see that this STEM education, is attracting the foreign investors to participate in the different contexts that we have in these developing countries. We see that this STEM education is also enhancing the competitiveness at the world stage of the different sectors like the technology, whereby it is also being used like the engineering, solve the problem of the poor infrastructure that these developing countries still face. More so economic development, whereby we are getting these foreign investors. These foreign investors also bring money to our country. We are also, whereby we see that when we prioritize this STEM education, we see that it is developing more, and that's why we stand to say that we take the resolution of today. Thank you, the panel.
All right, before the second speaker comes, the first speaker from Prop comes to stage. Please, audience, just listen to the speaker on the floor. If you have to talk to your partner, ensure it's in low tones. No one should hear what you're talking about, okay? All right, so speaker ready when you are.
3, 2, 1. It's very important to understand what the motion is about. That schools in developing countries should prioritize STEM education over the arts education. One, where the affirmative side actually argues about that there will be this STEM education attracts people from other countries, and they bring money into our country. But for their own information, actually bring that this thing falls into our side, because in arts education we teach things like about the tourism industry that actually we believe it is the one that brings this tourism to this part of the place in the first place. So we believe that actually this falls in our side, but not in their side as they identify. And two, going on in today's debate, this is when I believe that it is not about the advantages of this STEM education. It is about, it is suggesting a priority which can change problems in these developing countries through these schools. So we are truly arguing about which priority actually will solve problems in these developing countries. In the first place, on the problem analysis, what are the problems these developing countries face in the first place? One would believe that they have poor infrastructure. One would believe that in these developing countries the problem that we identify in state is about underdevelopment, and we believe that this actually is brought up by the bad leadership that actually we believe that can be promoted, or we can improve the leadership by the arts education. So actually, going on to the root cause of these problems that are in today's debate, we believe that actually having poor leaders is the one that brings all these problems. Who can solve with STEM education? So in the first place, we actually argue that bad leadership, we can actually respond to it and solve it in the world. Then these problems that you can be solving with STEM education, arts education can actually achieve. That's why we believe that the priority is first taken on the thing that solves the problem better in today's debate. So in today's debate, we are talking about that this STEM education actually does not have we don't have the capacity as developing countries, and also the time needed. And POI speaker address, please. Look about the quality of the results. Currently, look in Uganda. The president has been addressing that we focus on areas like job and wealth creation, infrastructure development, promoting sorts of things like that. But what is happening right now? We believe that the quality of the results that has been put in those things that the president is saying, the results that we are seeing, they are not actually the ones they are telling us in today's debate. One, we see that
speaker, hello. Are you fronting mitigation or the root cause of the resolution of today?
I believe that we should first talk about the problem that brings all the problems you identify in today's debate. So actually, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we should mind about. In against it. What are we arguing about as the team affirmative? We are talking about how arts education. Our first argument is about the quick returns on the government, and second argument is about how prioritizing arts problem solves the problem from the root cause. And argument 3 is about how arts education provides a foundation for science. So ladies and gentlemen, beginning with the first argument that the quick returns on the government, we believe that actually in arts education, we have talked about that we are going to be prioritizing most in this arts education. And the arts education, we are looking things about like tourism, like the tourism industry, and sorts of things like that. But in that one where they are prioritizing STEM education, we actually believe that it does not matter. So in today's debate, let's look about this. Have you ever seen a musician coming from have you ever seen a musician in today's day? We think that actually by first prioritizing on arts education, we are improving the industry. That means that the government has the money to actually build infrastructure, actually carry out things that identify that you can solve with STEM education. So on the other hand, when we are prioritizing arts education, we are able to and be able to achieve the things that you're saying that can be achieved by STEM education. So in today's debate, we are not neglecting STEM education for the own information. We are just saying that the priority and resources should be first given to this arts education because of the benefits we are seeing that actually come into this debate. With all that being said, I beg just like this and I'm proud to oppose. Thank you.
As the negators actually come here and begin debating, first of all, we actually wanted to know what they're actually aiming at. We as team affirmatives are actually aiming at 4 most kind of ways. Here we're looking at the financial base of a country, we are looking at the security base of a country, we are looking at the health foundation of a country, and very many other sectors. So now, the negators actually come and speak of 3 types of arts. We have the visual arts, we have the practical arts, and we also have the theoretical arts. But now in the theoretical arts, this is when they actually bring in policies. Policies that they're actually speaking of are supposed to sustain the development that actually comes in the country. But as far as I know, the only problem that they're actually seeing that both of us actually have sustainability, because the fact that someone came and created a car to mitigate the problem of transport, and that car actually released fumes, someone realizes that yes, this car releases fumes, creates an electrical car, is actually sustaining this innovation, but then making it much better. So what are you actually trying to look at? These guys actually come here and mention of us having low financial base. They come and mention of actually these policies may actually make our country better because they are the root cause. Yes, we allow, but then what are we actually trying to look at? We are in the 21st century, we have left the 20th century. Countries are improving they're improving their financial base, they're improving their security base, they're improving their health foundation at a very high rate. So we need to actually join this actual country. So they come here and mention of the practical arts, by which they actually mention of a musician actually making money. Yes, we agree, but then at what range are these musicians making money? Because these musicians actually make money publishing their songs. So if we can actually create a foundation with a cyber system, here we are actually looking at tapping globally. So we can actually help the musicians get more money by actually improving the economy. So now let's look. If we have improved the economy, how will it help other sectors? Let's look at this. We have improved the economy. We have now got a stable financial base. We are able to tackle other problems that are actually affecting our country. For example, the climate change, we have the poor health facilities, we have the weak military. In this kind of case, concerning the weak military, we can actually bring in the case of the nanotechnology, which is actually in USA. Now these guys will actually say that USA is already a developed country. Yes, that's why we are picking a leaf from it. We're taking you back to where USA was still developing. They actually introduced nanotechnology, they came in and introduced cyber security, and they were able to tap the eagle's eye. The eagle's eye has actually improved their security at a very high rate. So if we actually do front STEM education over the arts education, we are making our country develop at a much higher rate. The only problem that these guys have, the fact that they first want to stabilize their their political systems, they are actually going to have long-term development, by which, as far as I know, both of us have sustainability. Wait, I'm still speaking, I'll come back to you. But both of us actually have sustainability. But then when we come to our side, we actually have a short-time rate of development, by which we can develop much quicker and tap to the countries that are actually able to have this kind of technology. Now, I'm back to you.
Does your work actually promote industrial revolution?
If you had actually had at my speech of nanotechnology, I spoke of cybersecurity and I also spoke of the cyber system. Here I came and I gave you an example of actually a steam car that actually releases fumes and an electric car. This is what I actually meant. If you had actually tapped me to me and made me more clear, don't quote me wrong. So let me continue. We actually came and spoke of promoting critical thinking. We do believe that actually both sides have thinking, but then in this kind of case, on their side it's much more of remembrance. Like they only take history, geography, and the political system. When you come to our side, we have technology, we have science, we have mathematics, by which you might actually think of these equations. In fact, just using a calculator to mitigate a small equation itself is critical thinking, because you can't actually come and tell me that someone who invented a cos 90 being divided by 2 equaling to a 0 was actually a fool. This person actually went through a lot of thinking, by which you can actually see that this equation is a secondary equation, but a primary guy like me who actually comes to know this equation, I'm actually using a lot of thinking, I actually come and know this equation. So this is where the point of promoting critical thinking comes in. I agree, in both worlds we have critical thinking, but then the level of critical thinking differs that much. That's why we do think, panel, that we are the ones supposed to take the resolution for the rest of the case.
Corruption costs Africa an estimated 148 billion annually, equating to 25% of GDP. This report was by the African Union 2023. This shows you that we can't achieve the economic development they are talking about when we are having bad leaders, when we are actually having bad leaders. So, we believe that in our side, we are actually prioritizing the arts education, where we are actually having the good leaders, will actually be able to achieve the economic development. And also, they come here and they tell us that in their world, there is industrial revolution. But judges, we believe that this industrial revolution is actually based on good leaders. If we don't have good leaders, we can actually not be able to have this industrial revolution they are trying to achieve in their world. And also, they come here and they tell us that actually there is more innovation and creativity in their side of the world, in their side of the event. But judges, we believe that also we as the Dianegators also have this creativity and innovation. Because we believe that first of all, to be able to create music, to be able to make something using your own hands, you first of all have to be having this creativity. We believe that also as the Dianegators have this creativity. And also, they come here and they tell us of poor health. But dear judges, we believe that actually we are having brain drain simply because the government has actually not yet been able to trust these doctors with their patients, since they actually think that these doctors are actually not emotionally attached to these patients. But in our world where we are having emotional attachment, we are actually not going to be having this brain drain, which is actually going to be solving the problem of poor health which we are actually facing in today's event. And also, they come here and they tell us that in their world, they are actually going to be having security. But judges, we believe this is not true, because we believe security is first of all in the art section. We believe that this security does not only involve technology, but it also involves human beings. To have security, we need a good governance. To have security, we need leaders who are able to protect us. We need leaders who are able to make policies which can actually govern us as a country, so that we can actually feel secure in our own country. Meaning that in our side of the debate, we are also having educators. And also, they come here and they tell us that they're actually going to be, they come here and they tell us that actually they're going to be improving the financial base. But judges, we believe this is not true because first of all, this science subject actually depends on arts education. Because we believe in the arts education, we learn some things like the languages, which we actually need in this science, in this STEM education. We need English, we need these other languages, meaning that actually this STEM sector actually also needs this art sector to be able to thrive. So, dear judges, this actually proves to you how exactly in our side of the debate, how we are actually achieving economic development while prioritizing the arts education. Moving on to our thinkers, we believe that 90% of the startups collapse. We believe that 90% of the startup companies collapse before they even celebrate 1 year of existence, simply because of bad management. And we believe that in the art sector, we'll actually be having this.
Madam Speaker.
Rejected, please. We'll actually be having this good management, which we need for these companies to thrive. We also believe that actually in GDP, we have this company which has actually been able to improve the GDP of Africa as tourism. We believe that with this tourism, we actually need the arts education. And if we actually don't have the arts education, if we actually don't prioritize the arts sector, we'll actually not be able to achieve this tourism, which is actually bringing in a lot of income in these schools in these developing countries. And also, judges, we actually believe that in today's debate, we are talking of capability. Without the capability of these schools in developing countries to first of all use laboratories which we actually need for this STEM education. In a world where we are prioritizing the arts education, we actually need to build 2 classes for the arts education and 1 class for the STEM education. Meaning that actually these schools in developing countries are capable. With all that being said, I would like to rest my case and I'm proud to oppose.
Our dear judges of today, what we received from the dear negators, they come and then they talk of tourism. First of all, they are saying that tourism will help us improve on our economy. First of all, don't think anyone will be in any other country and think of the tourism things that we have to tour, but we use the computers, we use the technology to advertise the touring things that we need to tour. It's not that I will just think there are things that I should tour in this country without them being advertised. Maybe you will fly and go to America or any other countries and just speak, but us, we have technology, we can easily advertise it all the countries in this world once. Our dear judges of today, I also wanted to tell them, they come here and talk about corruption. Our dear judges, we understand that this corruption is caused because these people who take arts education are underpaid, but the money that is paid to a person who takes STEM education is more. So our dear judges, take a look in their side and in our side, who are leading to more corruption. They who are underpaid, as we are paid enough money to sustain us, but they are underpaid, they are leading to corruption, contradicting everything they are giving. Our dear judges, I also wanted to talk about brain drain. This brain drain is caused due to poor infrastructure, where they underpay these people who are well qualified. But when we bring STEM education into action, we shall improve our infrastructure, get enough money to pay them so that we can stop the brain drain. But then, in their world, where they underpay them, it's why they are causing brain drain. So, they are bringing something what was even rebutted before it was even born. Dear Speaker, my time is budgeted. Also, I wanted to tell them that we shall have people, our dear judges of today, we wanted to tell them, after improving on a STEM education, we shall have people to make our own paracetamol, to make our own medicine, not mainly depending on the other countries. Them in their world, they mostly depend on foreign aid. But as we are trying to remove the foreign aid, we want to make our own reducing the money in the country. Them who keep using the little money we have, the countries are poor. We keep using the little money we have to buy those instruments. But if we make our own, we won't waste money buying the nuclear weapons. So we are improving on the economy of our country. In their world, they are reducing it. Would we rather take something that is wasting our money, or would rather take something that will help us? And also I asked them, are you counting mitigation or the root cause? They said that they will solve the problem. Instead, you're bringing the problems, you're increasing the problem. We are solving them by bringing this same education. They are increasing them by underpaying people, leading to corruption. Then they are also wasting money to buy weapons, leading to corruption. Our dear judges of today, this is the barking of the toothless dog. These are the kicks of the dying horse. Our dear judges of today, we understand that they told us that we need good leaders to promote our security. But I wanted to tell you, we brought the cyber security to help the leaders. We don't say that we are completely removing the leaders, but we are bringing something that will help them to improve on our security, not neglecting them, but helping to improve them. Then in their part, why they failed to understand the resolution of today, they didn't understand the word prioritizing. We are not neglecting the other part, but we are just saying let's help them. But what they think is totally different from what we are presenting. Our dear judges, we solve a problem of developing countries, which is low levels of technology. Developing countries haven't exploited their minerals due to low levels of technology. But if we bring STEM education and teach more people who can exploit the minerals, our countries shall develop, unlike their one, which is underdeveloped in this. Thank you, our dear judges. Please grant this to us.
When a baby is born, this baby is not immediately fed on chicken and chips. Not because it's bad for their health, but their enzymes cannot digest this chicken and chips. But they are fed on this milk. These babies are like these developing countries. When these developing countries are being developed, that means they have a low economy. Yeah, that is how can we introduce this STEM education, give it a priority in these developing countries, yet they have a low development. They come and they argue that their second speaker comes and argues that for them, in their world, they will be having this electric cars. All those are expensive. Their third speaker comes and says that for them they will be making their own medicines. But yet we see that that's also so expensive. And we see that this science, this STEM education actually cannot exist with this arts education. How does this come about? We say that to teach this arts education, you need things like creative thinking, you need things like critical thinking, you need things like these languages to enable people understand this STEM education. So we truly understand that for their side where they are saying that this STEM education should be prioritized, we see that they are not actually telling us how they will be solving these problems of economic development. Because one, they will be increasing the expenditure of these countries on importing these teachers to train this STEM education. We see that another thing, in that world there will be more brain drain. There are people from STEM education and people from arts education who carry out more brain drain. We see that first of all, they come and they tell us that they will be building this infrastructure which they will reduce brain drain. But we see that these developing countries do not have enough money to actually build this infrastructure. Okay, maybe these people have money, they have studied, they have finished, there will be no infrastructure to work. We see that if we first prioritize this arts education, let me show you how we shall be solving this brain drain better. When we prioritize this arts education, first of all, these people, if we prioritize this arts education, it is cheap because first of all, we have these ones. These plants are already there, these animals are already there. If we just prioritize it and give it a larger budget of their money, we see that we shall be training this tourism center where we see that these people will be getting more money. And when more individuals have more money, the more individuals set up these companies and more individuals set up these hospitals. Where we see that these people from this same education will actually get jobs. Where we see that where they're not first prioritizing this arts education, we see that in their world, these people actually will have no jobs. They come and they give their first argument as innovation. They say that this actually, this leader will not give you enough funds to set up this security system. So where they come and they tell us that they are setting up this security system, so to help these leaders, yeah, they are saying that if the leader is not interested, because this leader actually is not a good leader, we say that their security system instead will go down. We say that this leader will not be actually caring about themselves in their country. What we see will lead to more underdevelopment, and that's the biggest problem in their world. We see that, let me show you why that case is generally wrong. In their case, they do not acknowledge the fact that these developing countries actually have a low economy. We see that in their case, they are actually enforcing these developing countries to take up something that they do not afford. We see that in their case, they are actually telling these developing countries to use this as to use this same education, which is actually expensive. When all this happened in their world, we see that there will be the downfall of this development, thus leading to all problems in these developing nations. Yeah, let me show you how this cannot be possible with bad leaders. Bad leaders actually carry out corruption, and in order for us to have good leaders, we have to battle this arts education, where we see that shall be developing the public speaking of these leaders, we shall be developing their ethics, we shall be their leaders. If these leaders battle this arts education, they shall be having this ethics, they shall be having this good communication, they'll be having this cooperation, they'll be having this activism against corruption, they'll be having this honesty, and they'll be willing to promote this development because they know it will benefit them. Then like they say, I'm proud to oppose.
Thank you. It is very hard for a doctor to become a businessman, but it is very easy for a person who has studied law to actually become a businessman. So this actually shows you how actually our world is better than their world. I'm talking about a point about leadership. Let's look about the thing in the Middle East. The Middle East people were sent from a desert into a better place because they had good leaders, and they promote because they had good leaders as a result of prioritizing on this arts education. So relating that thing into our developing countries, actually this promotes a better solution to actually solve the problems we are seeing as underdevelopment. So in your world where you're talking about development that STEM actually will solve the problem, actually our case flips off everything that you present to us on the table. So in today's debate we believe that we are not neglecting the importance of STEM education. Yes, we can say that we have five classrooms of arts education, and we have 3 classes of this STEM education, showing to you that we are not neglecting STEM education. We are showing to you that we are not neglecting STEM education. But the first priority of arts education is make you think this arts education will help foster critical thinking in these students and help to promote this development in the world as we solve in today's space. So we believe that actually solve the problem of the root cause of the problems they identify as they are solving. We believe that we should first talk about the things like bad leadership, which we believe that our case solves in today's space. So we believe that in the adjudicating grounds of the judges, our case falls in these questions, and we believe that we rank higher than the affirmative side, because they do not show us how prioritization, why STEM education prioritization will change the living status in these developing countries. With all that being said, I will just my case.
In a world of a forest of words, there is a desert of ideas. So these guys actually come and mention of corruption, speaking of their main point as corruption. Yes, we are aware that their main point is corruption, but then we actually spoke about the cyber system. Now as an nanotechnology, we have the AI. We are aware that people are actually corrupt, but there's no way that you will actually tell me that the AI that actually makes its own decisions can actually be corrupted. It's not that we are actually trying to remove the arts education, just that we are trying to help the leaders in these countries as they still try to develop themselves. So, First of all, we do think that to take the resolution simply because Team Negators actually contradicted itself. First of all, one of their speakers in one of their speeches came and said, panel, we don't need science education. But then in their reply speech, they come and mention that actually we're not trying to eliminate the STEM education. So actually I don't really see what they're actually taking in their part of the world. Are they trying to actually remove the STEM education, or they are trying to actually stay with it? So when I came here, I mentioned of our aims. Our aims was the financial base, the security base, the health foundation, and very many other sectors. So what I actually see that these guys actually did understand the meaning of that prioritize. Prioritize is actually where you give something a first hand and you give the other thing the second hand according to what you actually see will give more benefits than the other. To our side of the world, we actually see that technology will give more benefits than arts. They come here and mention of corruption and different leaders, but for as far as I know, I have tried to look through the 21st century. Most of the things that these people are actually using are made out of technology. Yes, it can actually be low technology or high technology, but then all that is being used, the microphones, the cameras, the cars, is all technology. So I don't really see where they come and mention of tourism without advertisation. When you tap into the cyber system, you can actually advertise all the world. So we do think that to take the resolution, simply because these guys actually fail to understand what's actually the resolution, we rest our case.
Alright, one more round of applause for the speakers on the stage for that awesome performance. And that brings us to the end of NJSEC 2024 12th edition. Congratulations speakers for that fine speech. We shall be moving out with my fellow panelists to go and deliberate as well. Those of us shake hands and have a lovely afternoon.
Thank you so much. A round of applause to these young debaters. The question was, should we prioritize STEM education or should it be arts education? The team that gives a better benefit takes this. The judges will decide. Right about now we shall move straight to the seniors. If we had this quality debate from the juniors, expect even the best from the seniors. And let's clap for these young people as they step back.
Number 2, share.
I don't know if the judges can do something and just have both schools winning. So before we get the senior final, which is our final round of the tournament, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the grand finale of this 12th edition of the National Speech and Debate Championship, but also the National Junior Speech and Debate Championship, which is the 4th edition. We have a number of guests, and before I welcome them, please put your hands together so we show them. And then NDC, welcome. So on my right are 4 guests. I'll start with the guest on the other end, Mr. Ham Ahimsiwe. Is the head teacher of Mbara High School. Mr. Ahimsiwe is a pioneer debate coach. He was among the 20 teachers that kicked off debates in this country. So he's back home, and Mr. Ahimsiwe was requested to come and give us a keynote address and just help us understand why the things we do. We are also joined by Agnes. Agnes was here a few days ago, you remember? Please welcome her again. Agnes works with the Parliament of Uganda, who are our partners, so she's here to make sure we are all fine. And one of the important guests we have, use your language power Don't use your knowledge to create havoc. Use it to plant goodness and to transform the people you are in. When all of us do that, this world will be better. This country will be better. Your school will be better. You will influence people to do things differently for being good. Galatians 6:9. Don't get weary of doing good, for in due season you shall reap if you don't lose heart. When you do good, you don't lose. You reap a harvest at the end. Thank you for coming at King's College Budom. Waiting to see you again. May God bless you.
Let's celebrate the head teacher once more time. When you do good, and when you feel good, let's welcome the chief adjudicator for debate.